Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Kneon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And we're going to talk about Paramount. Now, we're not going to talk about Paramount in regards to the Netflix situation, in regards to the potential hostile takeover. We're going to talk about Paramount Skydance pivoting back to center with their entertainment, coming right out and saying that they're not going to do super quote-unquote woke entertainment anymore. They're going to go back to middle-of-the-road entertainment that makes money. Oh, my God.
Yeah, imagine that. You're gonna
Imagine that. Imagine that.
Common sense.
Common sense. So we'll talk a little about Sonic and some of the other stuff they got going on. But yeah, this might actually be good news for Star Trek fans, because there's a rumor that they're going to reboot Star Trek completely and go back to basics, which would be great. I think they're just flushing the stuff out of the system that was in the pipeline at Paramount, like Starfleet Academy and all that. And I think after that, it's going to be more middle of the road, just straight up entertainment. Good. Somebody's got to do it. So let's talk about it.
They're going to be successful because of it. You watch.
Oh yeah, they already are. Because I'm going to pull up some of their big hits, and Top Gun and Sonic and Mission Impossible, and these are just crowd pleasing movies with no political agenda, and they've been rewarded for it financially. Now, if they could just get their shit together with Transformers, that'd be great, but, can't win them all. Let's talk about this. Before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. You will get a woohoo if you do.
Woohoo.
Go out to more, M-O-R-E. That's M-O-R-E .clownfishtv.com for more Clownfish TV for our podcasts that are not posted over here. Check it out. We're getting that underway going into 2026. So before we get into the Paramount thing, I just want to show this awesome picture to all of you. Ben Schwartz, who is the current voice of Sonic in the movies, with Jaleel White, who was the original voice of Sonic in the cartoon show and has a game show now, together. And apparently Jaleel White has not been asked, or up to this point had not been asked to be in the Sonic movies. I hope they fix that.
I do too.
They need to get him in there. That would be amazing. But these two guys together at GalaxyCon. So that's
cool.
pretty awesome. So yeah, this is coming from Culture Crave. Paramount's focused on making IP and commercial films going forward. They've dramatically scaled back their budgets and award campaigns. That's probably they're not going to do like artsy fartsy art house movies.
Yeah, because that's what wins awards. But winning awards doesn't mean it makes money.
But everybody has to be seen. You have to make movies for people to be seen, even if you can't afford to make them. You've got to do it.
All the winning awards does is help the celebrities who wins awards ask for more money. That's all it really does.
Oh, yeah.
Most people don't even tune in anymore. They don't care.
One source says they have no interest in anything but down the middle IP. It's all about commerciality.
Good.
Commerciality. And they said it's odd considering they just signed the Duffer Brothers, and a leak said their film is an original. Commercial probably fits based on Stranger Things. Yeah, they're going to hire people that they think are going to make commercial hits. The Duffer Brothers, Stranger Things is a commercial hit regardless of what you think of it.
Well, they're not saying they're going to make new stuff. They're just saying they're going to make things that have mass appeal is what they're saying. That's not the same thing. Commercial success doesn't mean you can't do new things.
Yeah, so this is funny. This is coming from The Hollywood Reporter. They've got the Paramount with the male sign on. They said,
for fuck's sake, cry harder.
Feelings don't matter. How the Ellison era is
so pissed.
Is transforming Paramount. Fuck your feelings. We got to make money. Look, at the end of the day, that's what this is about. You got to make money. You have got to make money. And I guarantee you, if Netflix does wind up somehow with Warner Brothers, they're going to juice the Warner Brothers IP.
Yeah, they're interested in making money. He's made that very clear. And even if it means they don't put it in theatrical release so that they get more people paying to subscribe to Netflix to get the things. And Netflix can do it, unlike Disney. They don't care about your feelings. You're right, they don't care about your feelings. They want results. Because we've spent how many years caring about all your feelings in Hollywood? All your ridiculous feelings. You're like looking for things you're mad about. Your constant, unimaginative, bullshit reboots that were just basically put a woman in it and make her gay and make it lame. And because, diversity just meant lesbians in Hollywood for the past so many years. And all you did was fail and lose money repeatedly. So you know what? No, they don't care about your feelings anymore. They just want to go back to making movies that people like, because the general audiences didn't give two shits about your feelings either. They didn't go see the movies.
I think this
middle fingers all around.
It is hilarious. It's a brand new day at the Legacy Studio where prestige films are out. Testosterone heavy tentpoles are in, and Brett Ratner is back on the call sheet for Rush Hour 4. Let me just bring this up. were the biggest theatrical hits for Paramount. Top Gun Maverick, Sonic the Hedgehog 2, Mission Impossible, Dead Reckoning, Quiet Place, Sonic the Hedgehog.
Quiet Place also was an original thing.
Yeah, Quiet Place was original. And I don't know if it's definitely not testosterone heavy, but it's pretty middle of the road.
What? It doesn't have to be testosterone heavy. It just has to be something that's mass appeal. That's what they don't understand. They're taking mass appeal as it has to be testosterone heavy. A lot of girls went to see Sonic the Hedgehog. A lot of women went to see Quiet Place. Like, these are not movies that are necessarily testosterone heavy. It just means they're making ones that are going to be commercially viable. It's not hard. It really isn't.
So they're going to look at this. They're going to look at what their biggest hits were, and they're going to be like, yeah, let's do more of that. And honestly, Star Trek could be a massive, massive franchise again, but they're going to have to go back to basics. They've alienated audiences.
Like Star Wars, I mean, I don't think it's as far gone as Star Wars. But
that's pretty far gone.
I don't know. I mean, maybe. I mean, as far as the audience is concerned, you're like second chance. Because I don't. But then if you're saying that about Star Trek, 'cause I don't really pay attention to Star Trek that much. If you're saying that about Star Trek, then it doesn't matter what they fucking do. It's not going to change it. Same with Star Wars. I don't care what they do at this point. It's not going to change anything. People aren't coming back. You're going to bring the member berries out for 2027, but they'll go out. They'll probably come out for the originals, but that's it.
With Star Trek, it's actually an easier fix, I think, because most of the discontentment is around the Kelvin timeline, which is an alternate timeline, and all you got to do is just blink it out of existence.
Well, you know what? Okay, yes, but I disagree in the fact that it's going to be harder than that because some people are disenfranchised and they already moved on. Same with Star Wars. You can just say, true. I'm going to snap the Disney Star Wars out of existence. Doesn't matter. People aren't going to come back. Fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice, fool me 100 times with Disney. They're not coming back. Acolyte failed, Leslie Headland, because general audiences didn't want it.
Well, I mean, I think it's, and you break the habit too. Like the first Star Wars movie we did not go see opening weekend was Rise of Skywalker, which we still haven't seen.
Nope.
And at that point, it was like, oh, you know what? We don't have to watch every Star Wars movie that comes out because the last one kicked us in the nuts. So I don't have
That's
to
what
watch
I'm saying. People move on. And if you think that people are from Star Trek, I said it'd be easy, it might be easier, and you're like, no, and then you turn around and say it is. So I don't know what you're trying to say, but I'm just saying people from Star Trek, if they're as disenfranchised as people from Star Wars, they're not going to come back. Even if you give them what you think they want, they're probably not going to come back because they're probably like, no, it's going to be bait and switch.
Yeah, I mean, that was kind of how I felt about, like, Picard season 3 was great. I love Picard season 3, but 1 and 2.
You had 1 and 2 also.
But we had 1 and 2, and the only reason season 3 was good was the showrunner was a huge fan of Next Gen and knew what the fans wanted. I thought we were going to get maybe some decent Star Trek with Strange New Worlds, and then we broke out into song and dance and dancing Backstreet Boys, Klingons.
Tom, you need Neon, whatever. Everybody knows his name's Tom. Hey, you need to stop saying that because you know what? You're hurting their feelings.
I don't want her. Yeah, people worked hard. People worked hard on this.
That's what I kept saying about different things. Like, well, they worked hard on it.
So you have, singing and the dancing.
Well, you know what? Someone work hard on taking a crap. Doesn't mean we all have to worship it.
Sometimes you do work hard on.
That's what I'm saying.
All right, so let's look at this. So they're saying, they're just going back to center, which they have to do. They said the days before the Paramount Skydance merger, headlines as to who was staying and who was going were flying fast and furious. Okay, so they're leading with the ousting of the animation head, which is really interesting. They said that they got rid of Nato, which who was Nato? I forget Nato's name. Ramsey Nato, head of Paramount Animation, right? And I think before it's all said and done, we're gonna have Lasseter kind of overseeing everything, but we'll get there. On August 6th, the night before the merger became official, an anonymously sourced news story indicated that Nato was safe, highlighting the success of Ninja Turtles: Mutant Mayhem, which grossed $182 million against a $30 million budget. Things quickly turned for Nato as the emboldened top execs installed by Ellison to run the studio began asserting their power. In a fall meeting with key leaders, including Paramount Pictures co-chairman Josh Greenstein, Nato was left feeling humiliated after she was told she had devalued the Turtles franchise. What? Sources say Nato later confronted Greenstein and others to object to the way they had spoken to her. The essence of their response was "get over it." They said,
I didn't hear how if they were super, super disrespectful, then I'd be mad too. But if they were just pointing out the obvious and they were just being like, hey, we're up to change course because this didn't work, and she took it as being, personally,
They're basically saying the Ellisons are going to run it the way they're going to run it. It's going to be all about making profit and fuck your feelings, is what they're saying. And they're all mad about it now. They're like, but you should be nicer to people because they've got feelings. I'm like, you know who else has feelings? Shareholders. And then if they're not feeling very good about where the company is.
Even more so, the people that the customers, the viewers, that they have feelings too, and their feelings towards Hollywood are not positive lately. So you want the money, you have to care about their feelings, not Hollywood's feelings.
Well, this is the thing. The reason Paramount got sold is it was fucking failing. It was failing. It was a failure of a business. This reminds me of Kitchen Nightmares, where Gordon Ramsay goes in and he's like, hey, I can see right now why your business is failing. Fuck your feelings. This is what you have to do to fix it. But I wanted to do it my way. It's like, you did it your way, and here I am. Do you want my help? Yes or no? And that's what I think is going on here. Is they're just like, we can fix this, but you're not going to like what we got to do to fix it. But fuck your feelings if you want to be profitable. And they're talking about how the new status quo is blunt feedback, and that's going to be the norm. And honestly, I think we have an era of people who just want it's like Disney. You have to tell us something positive before you tell us something negative. And you waste so much time, and you're not getting anything fixed. And I'm like, there's a right and wrong way to how to talk to people, obviously, but people are going to have to be more blunt, because it doesn't change if you're just trying to dance around the subject so you don't hurt their feelings. And then as soon as anybody even looks at them cross-eyed, they're screaming their feelings are hurt. Those are people you can't have in charge. If you cannot have a thick enough skin to be able to, take criticism and learn from it and actually act, accordingly, then you really shouldn't be there. No, this is interesting, though, because it said sources close to the regime deny that they spoke down to the head of animation.
That's what I'm saying. It could be that they took it that way. That's why I said, how did they talk to them? It would depend, because did they actually dress them down, or did they just be like, you hurt my feelings?
They tell you, but acknowledge that they confronted the exec for declining to take responsibility for the fact that several animated films on her watch had gone over budget, including Smurfs, a bomb that lost them $80 million.
Was a good idea?
With Rihanna's Smurfette.
I gotta smurf you up. What the fuck were you thinking?
It didn't even look like Smurf. Like it was so bad. The trailer for it was so bad. I'm like,
smurfed up your budget.
Smurfed up your budget. Actually, people will pay for that. Smurfette's gonna get smurfed up. You can watch on OnlyFans. There you go. That's how you make money. They said NATO saw the writing on the wall and told friends she wasn't sure how long she'd last under the new management. This is what's going to be really interesting to see. In general, is people are trying to speculate about so-and-so is going to stay with the company and they're going to do this, they're going to do that, whatever. I think some of it comes down to personality. And this is why, they're like, oh, James Gunn's going to stay on at Warner Brothers now because, it's Netflix, not Paramount. And that doesn't necessarily mean it's going to happen. It might be that, he's just incompatible with the new regime. If Paramount gets Warner Brothers, because there's a whole thing going on with that. But if they somehow get Warner Brothers, he definitely will probably walk away because the politics are not going to jive. Mm-hmm. And they're going to be the same way. Like, hey, Superman, it made some money, but it didn't make the money we wanted it to make. And it's fucking Superman. It should make $1 billion. And they're going to be like, there you go.
Smurf and Superman.
Smurf and Superman.
I'm just going to say Smurfing instead of the F word. You swear too much. I'm sorry. Today I'm very sweary, and it's a Sunday. Lord forgive me. But today is just not the day to mess with me.
They've got several paragraphs going on about Trump. So here we go. Even before Ellison took over, there were signs the studio was changing. Paramount was among the first to kill DEI. And after
they were killing DEI before Trump was elected. That's just it. They were killing this since like the beginning of last year or even earlier. They were silently walking this stuff back because they were losing money. They've been doing it well before Trump came back, before Trump was even elected.
Yeah. They're mad that Trump supporters are in charge of something that's been like a left-wing bash. But I mean, look,
they were friends with him before that. That's not, he's in power now. But even if Harris had been in, they still would have been Trump supporters that still would have been doing this stuff anyway.
So here's the thing: Paramount was left to their own devices, and what did they do? They destroyed Star Trek, right? I could argue they destroyed Transformers. I mean, now Rise of the Beast, okay, globally, but that's probably because China likes the Transformers movies. But one was a huge disaster. So they had the Hasbro stuff. They flushed that down the toilet. They did shit on Paramount Plus that was so bad they had to pull it off and take the write down, like the Grease prequel.
Oh, that was colossally stupid.
It's like they were left to their own devices. They had years to course correct, and they fucked it up, which is why they got sold. right? You can't let that go on forever. You can only bankroll, you can only subsidize a failing business for so long until you're like, look, is there a way forward? And you can look at it and be like, look, if we pivot, we can pivot back to profit. It's going to take us a couple of years, and businesses do that all the time. We're going to change our direction, change our focus, shut down some location, whatever. They do that. They pull it out of a tailspin. In this case, like Paramount, the rot was so extensive, and they're just looking at it and they're like, yeah, the only shit that's making us money is like Top Gun, Sonic the Hedgehog. You know what I'm saying? So they're going to be like, yeah, just make more of that. And anybody that gets in the way of that, you got to go.
All the other studios are doing that too. They're walking them back to this stuff too. It's not just them. You're going to say, and they're not even run by, Trumpy's friends. You stop blaming outside sources for your own inadequacy. You guys smurfed up repeatedly. Over and over and over, you did these really cheap, we're just going to reimagine it for modern audiences. And then you just ruined everything about it. You kept putting out subpar crap that people didn't want to see. The box office flopped. The people, you're handed your butt. And then you're walking it back. It has nothing to do with Trump. The DEI walk back was because all these companies were losing money.
Here's why they're pissed. Ellison has also been willing to empower once canceled male executives, as well as those who are eager to assert their influence after being denied top jobs at other companies. Yeah, he brought in Lasseter, he brought in Jeff Shell, he brought in people that...
you bring in people that are good. What, so you're not allowed to hire a dude anymore because it's a dude? I mean,
they've been canceled.
Check your privilege, assholes.
The rules are, you've been canceled, you've been blacklisted from Hollywood. How very dare you go against us and bring these people that we decided were problematic into your company? How very dare you?
They dare. And you know what? They'll probably win at the box office while you keep
They're
failing.
probably going to.
I'm going to say, Hollywood, take your head out of your ass. Or actually take it out of the person in front of your ass, because it's all like one giant human centipede. And just stop, just stop. And just think, like, if we want to make money, if we want to be relevant, we want to keep our jobs, what do we have to do that?
There's an arrogance at the studio that has caught the town by surprise, says one anonymous source who's in business with
Paramount.
It's
arrogance at that studio, okay. Not the Hollywood Reporter, okay.
It's arrogance to them because, again, who are you? Who are you to hire back these people who we decided were canceled? How very dare you? How very dare you bring them back? It's just like with Twitter when they started, re-platforming people that the machine decided were problematic. How very dare you, Elon Musk? I'm like, he's the richest man in the world. He very dare whatever the fuck he wants to do. Just don't use Twitter.
Yeah, they said why some people see as arrogance, meaning you. Other people see as a much needed shift. It's like, yes, it's a much needed shift. And I'm not saying, I'm just saying if somebody has a proven track record of delivering, then of course you're going to go back to that person.
Yes. And if it's not, if the infraction isn't that egregious in the case, I'd still say with John Lasseter, that whole thing just stunk to high heaven. Like, yeah, do I think he was too touchy-feely with people when he shouldn't have been? Everybody knows he's a hugger.
It's probably likely, yes.
He shouldn't have, right? I don't think it ever crossed into his soul or anything, but he shouldn't have. Knowing the climate now, he shouldn't have. That being said, I think there were people at Disney that were gunning for his job, and they needed to get him out of the way. So they looked for a reason to get him out of the way. Mm-hmm. And look how well Pixar has done without John Lasseter, Elio. Look how well you've done without him. So, they're talking about Ellis himself. They're like, well, he's not really problematic, but his dad's kind of a bully. And then they're talking about Rush Hour 4. The Rush Hour 4 news jolted.
What does his dad have to do anything? His dad is not the one, you know what I mean?
Well, they don't like because his dad is friends with Trump. They said the news.
What? That's neither here nor there.
It jolted many on the lot because Trump wanted Rush Hour 4. Ellison's like, we're going to do it. Sources say that even before Trump's request, there were already conversations within Paramount about whether to distribute the Orphan Project. The movie would almost certainly make money for the studio, given that Paramount, as a distributor but not a financier, stands to receive a hefty fee. A lot of people would go see a good Rush Hour 4. Because that it's a throwback to a simpler time, right? I mean, people are like, oh, it's too late for a Top Gun sequel. But they did it, and they made a shit ton of money. Mm-hmm. So they're just talking about, let's see here. David likes to hire people who he thinks were devalued. Basically, he wanted to hire people that were canceled. They talk about John Lasseter. They said one example, Skydance swooped in and hired Pixar chief John Lasseter after he resigned from Disney at the height of Me Too. Later, the first major production deal announced by the new Paramount was a first look packed with Will Smith, still tame from the slapping Chris Rock at the Oscars. I think they're against cancel culture, and they're probably looking at people on a case-by-case basis and being like, was it really that bad what they did? Now, obviously, if you assaulted somebody, sexually or ate a baby or something. Yeah. It's like, you don't want to work with that person, right? But Hollywood overlooks a lot of shit when money's involved.
Oh, they overlook a lot of shit when it leans a certain direction, but when they think somebody leans another direction, it's like, oh my God, how dare you? They haven't done anything.
Yeah, I forgot about that. They hired Johnny Depp to play Scrooge. So Johnny Depp's coming back is Scrooge. So yeah, and then Jeff Shell, they're pissed. They're basically pissed that the Ellisons came in, bought a legacy studio, and they're walking back cancel culture, and they didn't have permission. They didn't have Hollywood's permission. They didn't have their permission
to
do it.
So that's why they're arrogant.
That's why they're arrogant, because you need Hollywood's permission to do anything, right? But yeah, it's interesting. If you read through this, though, they're just talking about all the stuff that they're going to make that's going to make money. They're talking Star Trek, Transformers, World War Z. They got to do stuff that makes money, but they're not going to do apparently the artsy fartsy shit because it's not making money. Why would you waste money on movies that don't make money? Because it makes people feel good. I mean, this is what we talk about all the time. Like, people get angry, like, oh, whatever thing didn't get a sequel. I'm like, well, probably didn't get a sequel because the first one lost money.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you just hate black people or gay people because they were black. No, it's if it made money, they would make more of it. Yeah,
that's it. They make more if it made money, and they're just not, because it's not making any money. It's really not hard.
Yeah, I don't understand why this is so hard. Now, the downside to this. Oh God, Seth Rogen. The downside to this is you are going to get a lot of sequels. Hopefully, not more reimaginings. But I think they've learned. Like, you can't reboot stuff that people love very often.
You can as long as you do it right.
As long as it's a respectful reboot or something that completely goes off in a different direction. I mean, I kind of wonder now, like, how Battlestar Galactica would have been received on Twitter. We didn't have Twitter when it launched, but I mean, we had message boards, and people were probably pissed. We had female Starbuck, and we had, but it was so far removed from the original that it really is kind of its own thing, right? But they're trying to figure out what to do with Turtles. They're like, Turtles should be $1 billion franchise. They said they're impressed with Sonic the Hedgehog. It's hired Sonic producer Neil Moritz to guide the live-action Turtles movie that's already nabbed. 2028, they're going to release it. The sister TV division has canceled the spinoff to the Seth Rogen-produced Mutant Mayhem, leading to industry chatter that the big screen animated sequel's in jeopardy. Yeah, I think so. If it didn't make a ton of money, I mean, it did okay, but it didn't make a ton of money. And the toys, I don't think, sold that well either. They kind of just sit there. They said the famously outspoken liberal Rogen makes an odd bedfellow for a studio that's so close to Trump. I think a lot of people are just going to walk away because they're going to feel pressured by Hollywood. Like, if you're working with Paramount, you're not working with Disney, you're not working with Netflix, you're not working because they're bigot, racist, misogynist, homophobe, Trump supporter, or whatever. They're like the Fox News of Hollywood.
Basically, this whole article is just a meltdown because
it's a meltdown. They aren't. Oh my God, it just goes on.
Yeah, I don't even care anymore. Just shut them down.
Yeah. So anyway, this is a takeaway. We're going to pivot to profit. We're not going to get political. People are going to be pissed because, the Ellisons are friends with Trump, but if it makes money, who gives a shit?
Mm-hmm. Basically, yeah.
There we go. All right, we're going to wrap it up.
Yep.
Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. We'll talk later.
Bye.